बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम वसल्लल्लाहु अला नबिय्यिल करीम रब्बिश्रह ली सदरी वयस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़्दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली. The topic for this evening is misunderstanding about Islam. You know, there are a lot of printed material on this subject. For example, I read a book. The title was The Most Misunderstood Religion. The author tries to deal with the misunderstandings, but according to his analysis, all those misunderstandings belong to non-Muslim community. So is the case of all articles and books published on this subject by Muslims. So according to these printed materials, misunderstanding is a monopoly of non-Muslims, but it is not. I don't think that misunderstanding is a monopoly of non-Muslims. According to my experience, both the communities have their share on equal basis. If non-Muslims have some misunderstanding about Islam, so is the case of Muslims. Muslims have also grave misunderstanding about Islam. So misunderstanding is not monopoly of any one of the community. Today I received a telephone from a well-known magazine. He asked about the Muslim attitude on the relationship between Israel and India. He said that Muslims generally object and say that India's policy towards Israel is wrong. They say that Israel is an oppressor country. He is committing atrocities on Arabs in the Palestine. So they dislike this kind of relationship between India and Israel. The interviewer said that it means that Muslims are not patriotic. Muslims have their own notions. According to his analysis, it was in the best interest of India. Then why Muslims are against this relationship? And then Muslims are also thinking in terms of misunderstanding. They say that on this subject, India's policy is anti-Muslim policy. But both sides is wrong. I said to that news magazine, I said to that magazine that it is an issue of foreign policy. Every country follows some foreign policy, and this foreign policy is always according to its national interest. No country can afford to follow religious sentiments in its national policy, in its foreign policy. So, Muslims are also on the wrong side. It is their mistake that they see the foreign policy of India in terms of religious sentiment. It has nothing to do with religious sentiments. Foreign policy is foreign policy. Every country follows its own foreign policy. What is in the best interest of its national? What is in the best interest of its nation? So, here you can see that magazine was thinking that Muslims are against the national interest, and Muslims were also in misunderstanding that Islam does not allow to go against their religion, against their sentiment in these matters. No. So I said that foreign policy is a political issue. No nation can afford to adhere its religious sentiments in these matters. Foreign policy is foreign policy. We have to see our interest. The same mistake is committed by communist group of our country. There was an agreement between India and America. That is called 1-2-3 agreement. So they turned against this agreement. Why? They have soft corner about Russia. So if they love Russia, it is their own problem. They must refrain their sentiments in these matters. Today I was hearing radio, and there was a talk of Dr. Abdul Kalam, ex-president of India. He said that this agreement between India and America is a best agreement. It is in the best interest of India. So Islam is a realistic religion. Islam is not a extremist religion. Extremism is against the Islamic spirit. Then you see there are many non-Muslims who feel that Islam is a violent religion. Islam believes in violence. And you know, violence is against the spirit of the age. In our present age, we cannot afford violence. Violence means destruction. Violence means death. So they say that Islam is not a peaceful religion, and any religion that is not peaceful, it cannot be followed by the present generations. But again, you see that Muslims are also in misunderstanding about jihad. They think that Islamic activism is jihad activism, that is violent activism. Everywhere in the world, Muslims are following this kind of activism. Everywhere in the world, they are following violent activism. So they believe that Islamic activism is violent activism. And again, they are wrong. The definition of jihad in the Quran is given in a very clear verse. Quran says that jihad is a peaceful activism. It is completely a peaceful. Jihad is a peaceful jihad. Quran says, وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا, and do great jihad with them with the help of the Quran. Here you can see that Quran says that you have to do jihad with the help of the Quran. Now, what is Quran? Quran is not a sword. Quran is not a gun. Quran is not a bomb. Quran is a bomb. So, when you try to do jihad by the help of the Quran, it means that you are trying to follow the peaceful method. So, according to the Quranic definition, jihad is a peaceful activism completely. So, you can see that both the party are living in misunderstanding. Non-Muslims believe that Islam is a violent religion, and Muslims believe that jihad is a violent activism. And both are wrong. Both are wrong. Islam is a religion of peace in complete sense of the word. I can say that Islam was the first religion to proclaim that peace is the summum bonum. As-sulhu khair. People generally believe that freedom is summum bonum. But you know, if you adopt this formula that freedom is summum bonum, that means that if you use freedom in an unlimited way, then it will turn into anarchy. Unlimited freedom means anarchy. So how you can say that freedom is a summum bonum? It means that freedom can be used only in a limited way. Unlimited freedom means anarchy, 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 destruction. So freedom is not a summum bonum. Summum bonum is only peace is the summum bonum. if you use peace, you follow peace. If you follow peace, then there is no negative result. You can follow peace in an unlimited way, and there is no negative result. So this is the Islamic stand on this subject. You can say both sides is wrong. Non-Muslims believe that Islam is a violent religion, and it is not. Islam is a peaceful religion. Muslims believe that jihad is a violent activism, and it is not. Jihad is a peaceful activism. Jihad is completely a peaceful activism. So I can say that misunderstanding is not monopoly of a specific community. Muslims and non-Muslims both are living in misunderstanding about Islam. If you want to know what is Islam, you have to see Quran and Sunnah. The basic reason of misunderstanding is that non-Muslims are unable to differentiate between Muslims and Islam. The root cause of misunderstanding is that they fail to differentiate between Islam and Muslims. This is the root cause of their misunderstanding. And that what is the case of Muslims? Muslims, again, fail to see Islam in the light of Islam, in the light of Quran and Hadith. You know, Quran was revealed in the 7th century AD. Then there were so many commentaries, so many tafsir and sharh. So Muslims always try to understand Quran with the help of these sharh, these tafsir. And here is the mistake. Here is their mistake. If you want to know what Quran says, what is the real message of the Quran, what was the real message of the Prophet, so you have to detach all these literature prepared in later centuries. So I think that as far as the non-Muslims case is concerned, they see Islam in the light of Muslim practices, and this is wrong. And as far as the Muslims case is concerned, they see Quran in the light of their scholars' literature, their scholars' commentaries. Both fail to see Islam directly. So if you want to know what is Islam, what is the true religion revealed by God to His Prophet, so you have to see directly its text, that is Quran. So this is the crux of the matter. This is the crux of the matter. Then there are other then there are other misunderstandings. For example, it is general belief that Muslims are not patriotic. Muslims are not loyal to their country. Here both sides are wrong. The non-Muslim take the Muslim practices and they form this opinion. And this is not the correct method. Then what is the case of Muslims? In 20th century, they developed a hate against other nations. So, the first person who championed this kind of notion was, say, Maulana Wahiduddin. He started a movement in the name of pan-Islamism. So he wanted to organize the whole Muslim community all over the world. Pan-Islamism means Islamic Ittihad, Islamic unity. So his target at the time, colonial powers were ruling the Muslim countries. So he wanted to organize Muslims against these colonial powers. So he wanted to unite all the Muslims against these rulers. And then he started pan-Islamism. At that time, there were many Muslims like Jamaluddin, Sayyid Maulana Wahiduddin, like Dr. Muhammad Iqbal and others. So they wanted to mobilize Muslims against those enemies. So they said that Muslim nationhood is based on religion. There is a well-known couplet of Iqbal. इस दौर में मैं और है, जाम और है, जम और साक़ी ने बना की रविश लुत्फ़ सितम और इन ताज़ा खुदाओं में बड़ा सबसे वतन है जो पैरहन उसका है वो मज़हब का कफन है. He says that the concept of homeland is like a idol. So these Muslim leaders advocated a new kind of patriotism that was based on religion. So they said that Muslims are loyal only to their religion. So this was a reaction. This was a reaction against colonial powers. So, due to this issue, non-Muslims felt that Muslims are less patriotic, and Muslims felt that for us, religion is first and watan is the second. So this kind of theory that religion is first and watan is second is not correct according to Islam. But both were living in misunderstanding. Muslims, due to misleading, the leaders misled them. So they fell in misunderstanding that they have to adopt another kind of nationhood that is based on religion. But it was wrong. I can say that these matters are purely national matters, political matters. It has nothing to do with the religion. All these things are national issues, political issues, not Islamic issues. So we have to adopt the same concept that is prevalent in our age, in our country, among our nation. So Muslims are also an Indian like others. Muslims are also Indian like others. They must love their country. The nationhood of Muslims is based on homeland and not on their religion, as was supposed by those leaders. I will repeat that Muslims' nationhood is based on homeland, like other people, and not on religion or on Islam. The issue of nationhood is completely a non-religious issue. Don't mix these two different issues. So the leaders of 20th century advocated this kind of unrealistic thought to say that Muslims' nationality is based on religion and not on homeland. It is wrong. It is an unrealistic approach. You cannot afford this kind of approach. You cannot afford this kind of approach. Because if you want to have a passport, then you have to write in passport there is a head about your nationality, about your nationhood. So you have to mention that your nationality is Indian or according to other communities. The country in which you are living, that forms your nationality and not your religion. So if you try to go against this fact, you will suffer. You cannot afford this kind of unrealistic approach. So I think that this is not an Islamic issue. But due to misguidance of some leaders, Muslims were believing in 20th century that our nationality is based on our religion. No, our nationality is based on our homeland. So I can say that misunderstanding lies on the both sides. If non-Muslims are living in misunderstanding, then Muslims are also living in misunderstanding. For example, let us take the Dawah work. Dawah work is a very important work in Islam. Some non-Muslims believe that Muslims tries to generate hate among different communities by the name of Dawah. So according to them, Dawah means going against the other communities and try to generate hate between different communities. Then what Muslims are doing? Muslims are doing debate in the name of dawah. Muslims are engaged in debate in the name of dawah. And debate is, what is debate? Debate is not dawah. It is debate that generates hates. It is debate that generates intolerance. It is debate that generates enmity. But debate is not an Islamic practice. Even if you adopt the title of dawah for your debate, then the result will be the same. So I would like to say that dawah is a peaceful. Dawah work is a peaceful work, completely peaceful work. Dawah means to convey the message of God to your fellow men by the way of dialogue, by the way of peaceful dialogue, by the way of peaceful interaction, by the way of peaceful discussion. This is dawah. Dawah work is completely a peaceful work. No intolerance, no violence, no hate is involved in dawah work. But when you try but when you are engaged in debate and you call it dawah, then your work is bound to create misunderstanding. People will say that, see, these people, they are generating hate among different countries, among different nations. Because debate always generates hate, generates intolerance, even violence. But debate is not an Islamic work. Debate has nothing to do with Islam. Islamic method is dawah method, peaceful method. So you see that misunderstanding is on the both sides, Muslim and non-Muslim both. Then you see that there are non-Muslims who believe that Islam is against the development of women. There is no respectful place of women in the Islamic society. Then if you see what Muslims are doing, they are doing the same. In Muslim society, women are confined to their home. They are not allowed to go to mosque. I have read so many books on women in Islam, but all these books written by Muslims are based on a single concept, that woman is a item of protection. They see women as a issue of protection. So they always deal with veil, with hijab, with parda. Muslims themselves fail to understand the positive role of women. Except protection, they don't know nothing. All these books deal with the concept of protection. But according to Islam, men and women both are equal. The Prophet of Islam has said, "An-nisā'u shaqā'iqur rijāl." It means that men and women are two equal halves of a single unit. Men and women are two equal halves of a single unit. This is the best expression of gender equality. Then you see the early history of Islam, you will find that women have played a great positive role. All the women of Sahaba and the Prophet ﷺ, women at that time were active in social field, in dawah field. So at that time, women were playing a positive role in the Islamic society. But now women became an item of protection. So it is Muslim practice that gives wrong impression, and not the Islam. According to the teachings of Islam, men and women both have positive role in the Islamic life, in the Islamic society. Both have equal role. I'm not saying that both must work in the same job, in the same workplace. I'm not advocate of this notion that men and women both must do in the same workplace. I am trying to say that both have their own job, both have their own role. It is not simply a matter of protection. I have prepared on this subject 2 or 3 books. I have tried to establish that Muslims, that women have great positive role in Muslim society. So, on both the sides there are misunderstandings. If non-Muslims are living in misunderstanding about Islam, Muslims are too living in misunderstanding about the Islam. Here I would like to give some more examples. For example, there is a hadith. The Prophet of Islam has said, "Man qala la ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah." One who says that there is no God but one God, he will find entry into paradise. So, taking this hadith, Muslims believe that all the Muslims will go to paradise. Why? Because all the Muslims have recited this kalima. All the Muslims are simply recitation of this kalima is like a certificate to paradise, and it is wrong. This recitation is nothing. Recitation is simply a lipstick. So Prophet says, "At-taqwa hahuna." You have to adopt kalima by your heart, by your mind. Otherwise, it is nothing. So according to Islam, kalima means marifa, yani realized kalima. Without realization, there is no kalima. Marifa is first, and then recitation is second. When you say that this is a glass of water, if you say that this is a glass of water, so first of all, you have discovered, you have realized that it is a glass, and this glass there is a water. So after realization, you are saying that it is a glass of water. So realization is first, and saying is the second. Realization is the first, and saying is the second. So is the case of this hadith. Man qala la ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah. One who says la ilaha illallah, he will go to paradise. It means that one who realized, one who discovered this fact, that there is no God but one God, then he acknowledges. Here saying means acknowledgement. Here saying means acknowledgement. So when I say that there is a glass of water, I am acknowledging. I am saying what I have discovered. So I would like to say that this hadith is a result of a discovery, result of a realization. So when after study, after observation, after contemplation, you discover that there is a God. You realize that there is a God. Beyond this cosmos, there is a God, there is a creator. So after this realization, you acknowledge and say that God is one. There is no God but one God. So this kalima is an acknowledgement. It's not simply a saying. So hadith says that one who realizes, one who discovers there is no God but one God, and then he acknowledges. So there are two conditions, realization and acknowledgement. There are two conditions, realization and acknowledgement. So realization is the first and acknowledgement is the second. So here saying combines both the conditions. So it is a fact that if you have realized, if you have discovered the reality of God, and then you have acknowledged, that there is no God but one God, then you are competent to find an entry into paradise. But without realization, without acknowledgement, simply lip service is not enough. So here you can see that all the Muslims are living in misunderstanding. Then you see, let us take namaz, that is 5-time prayer. 5-time prayer. All the Muslims believe that one who read namaz, 5-time prayer, he will go to paradise. So it is correct. But what is reading? You know, namaz has two different parts, spirit and form. Namaz comprises of two different parts, spirit and form. So you have to practice the both of the part of namaz. First of all, you have to inculcate the spirit of namaz in your heart, in your mind, in your soul. So it is simply a manifestation of spirit that you are reading namaz in terms of form. So the form of namaz is a manifestation of your inner spirit. But people have detached spirit from the form. So they are taking form without spirit. This kind of namaz is nothing. This kind of namaz is nothing. So you have to follow namaz with the both aspects. So first of all, spirit is the first and form is the second. In the case of namaz, spirit is the first and form is the second. So first of all, you have to inculcate the spirit of namaz in your heart, in your mind, in your soul. And what is the spirit? Spirit means surrender to God, submission to God, in complete sense of the word. So after inculcating this spirit, when you perform salat or namaz, then you are doing that kind of ibadah which will lead to paradise. But people have detached the spirit from the form. They have abandoned the spirit and they are following the form. So this kind of salat is nothing. This kind of namaz is nothing. So this is the misunderstanding widespread among Muslims. So I say that misunderstanding is not a monopoly of non-Muslims. Muslims are also living in misunderstanding. Then you see, in our present society, everyone is talking about against the others. everyone has some negative thought against the others. When we report about other, we always say something negative. I never saw any person who talks about the positive aspect of the other people. I would like to say that this kind of talk is completely wrong. If you want to say about the other person, so you have to say in a positive way. Otherwise, you have to keep silence. The Prophet of Islam has said, "Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir, falyaqul khairan aw liyasmut." Everyone, it means that everyone who believes in the world hereafter, in the day of judgment, so he must speak truth, or he must keep silence. So you have only two options: either to keep silence or speak what is right. And at present, people are speaking without taking it into consideration of this hadith. You are not allowed to give a negative remark against anyone. It is un-Islamic. You are not allowed to give a negative remark against anyone. Either you have to give a positive remark or you have to keep silence. فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ. But you see, no one adheres this formula, this teaching of Islam. They think that there is no wrong in this kind of speech. They don't take it seriously. They don't take it seriously. So it is very, very, very serious matter. Today I was in conversation with the educated Muslim. I said that the greatest misunderstanding among Muslims is that they are a superior community. Thinking in terms of superiority is the greatest misunderstanding. I said to an educated Muslim that thinking in terms of superiority is the greatest misunderstanding. Although all the Muslims are living in this misunderstanding. So I said that these Muslims believe that their prophet is superior, their prophet is superior, their Quran is superior, their community is superior, their religion is superior. So everything here is superior. So ours is a superior religion. This kind of thinking is completely wrong, completely wrong. The only difference between Islam and other religions is that Islam is a preserved religion. Preserved religion. There was no alteration in the Islamic teachings. Quran is a book. Quran is a preserved book. Quran is not a superior book. Nothing is superior. But every Muslim believes that ours is superior religion. Everything here is superior. The word superior itself is an un-Islamic word. The word superiority itself is an un-Islamic word. In the world of God, everything is equal. So this kind of notion that we are superior people, it inculcates pride. And pride is quite un-Islamic. All the present Muslims are living in pride. All the Muslims say that I am proud to be a Muslim. I am proud to be a Muslim. I am proud to be a Muslim. But if you are a Muslim, it is not matter of pride. If you are a Muslim, it is not a matter of pride for you. It is a matter of responsibility. If you are a Muslim, you have so many responsibilities. You have to discharge all those responsibilities. So, our prophet is not a prophet. Our prophet is not a pride. Our Quran is not a pride for us. Our religion is not a pride for us. But it is a responsibility. The word pride is quite an Islamic word. Islamic word is modesty. Modesty. So we have to know that Islam is our responsibility. Islam is not our pride. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم أجمعين.